Wasbir, once again, a political affairs committee is being constituted. So, are you hopeful that things may get rolling once again, Wasbir?
Well, yes, Ronak, this is the latest decision of the Nagaland government that followed a high-level meeting chaired by the Chief Minister Nephew Rio on the 9th of May. Now, in view after this decision, the government has decided to set up a what they call a political affairs committee comprising the ministers from the Rio Council of Ministers and the leaders of the legislature party, leaders of different political parties to come up with an inclusive solution, as they said, to the long-drawn Naga political problem. Now the whole idea behind constituting the plan to constitute this political affairs committee is to act as a facilitator. Now, the government hopes that this political affairs committee, as and when it is set up, is going to play the role of a catalyst or a facilitator in resolving the long-standing Naga political issue. But if you ask me whether I am hopeful, to be frank, if I have to be frank, I am not really hopeful that this looks to me this looks like old wine in a new bottle, because even earlier they had the core committee on Naga political issue, and now the entire government in Nagaland is a party-less government, and that means there is no political party as far as the government formation is concerned. Everybody is part of the government. So therefore, there are two deputy chief ministers. There is the chief minister belongs to the NDPP, one of the deputy chief ministers belongs to the BJP, and the other deputy chief minister belongs to what was earlier the opposition party, that is the Naga People's Front. Now, in view of this, the idea behind having a partyless government is to work together and bring about a solution, to put pressure on the government and facilitate in evolving or finding a solution to the Naga political issue. Then, apart from being a partyless government, they also set up what was the core committee on the Naga political issue. And now, all of a sudden, as the elections have ended in the northeastern region, including Nagaland, and we are already into the fourth phase of the elections, only 3 more phases are left before the results are declared on the 4th of June. You see the Nagaland government coming up with this decision to set up a political affairs committee. In fact, this looks to me just some another effort to convince the people, to give an impression that this time round this political affairs committee is going to resolve the issue or come up with a solution that is acceptable and inclusive. Now, the point is, does the Nagaland government alone has the mandate to resolve the Naga political issue? The answer is absolutely no. The the political affairs committee of the Nagaland government, comprising different political parties, ministers and so on, they can at best give a recommendation to the center. But are we still at the recommendation stage? That is the question, because as far as we all know, there has been several rounds of negotiations. One of the key stakeholders, that is the NNPGs, have already signed the agreed position. They have always maintained, and they have not gone back on their stand. They have said that the NNPG has said that they are ready to sign on the dotted lines. There is nothing to discuss anymore, that everything has been put together in that agreed position. But the NSC and IM, on the other hand, they said that a separate flag and constitution for the Nagas is a must. Otherwise, they are not going to sign on any proposed agreement that may resolve the Naga political issue. So the NSCN is rigid on its stand, saying that they will not sign the deal provided unless the government of India concedes to their demand of a separate flag and constitution. Now, this deadlock, this stalemate, will this political affairs committee be able to resolve this stalemate? One has to wait and watch. But if the political affairs committee is able to sit together with the NSCNIM and gets to convince them to give up their demand or modify their demand of a separate flag and constitution, and present the center with some kind of a written assurance, perhaps the center can carry forward with the talks with the NSC and IM. Because as I have said, the NNPGs have very clear. They have said that they have nothing to discuss, and if there is anything left to be resolved, that can be, the process can go on even after the agreement is signed. But the NSC and IM, that is not the case. They are stuck to their demand for a flag and constitution. In this backdrop, what will the political affairs committee do? At best, the political affairs committee can have few rounds of talks with the NSC and IM leadership and try to convince them to give up or modify their demand for a separate flag and constitution. If they agree, fine, they can come up with a written assurance to the government of India. If they don't, the stalemate continues. Now, what is this political affairs committee going to do? What is their mandate? They have only come up with some kind of a circular. This is some kind of a circular which was dated 10th of May, because they had this meeting on the 9th of May, where was chaired by the Chief Minister of Nagaland, Mr. Nephew Rio. But yes, intent may be good. This is just to send out a message that the Nagaland government or the political class in Nagaland or the political leadership in Nagaland have not forgotten about the Naga political issue, because during this election, that is the just ended Lok Sabha election, everybody thought that there will be some kind of a assurance to as far as a possible solution to the Naga political problem, but that did not happen. And as far as the ENPO issue was concerned, that has also not been resolved before the elections. In fact, the ENPO enforced a boycott of the polls in the ENPO dominated areas. So there was a boycott by a large number of people. In fact, more than 90% perhaps of the people did not vote in these elections in over 20 assembly constituencies, that is in eastern Nagaland. So this is the backdrop in which this decision to set up the political affairs committee, and I am not so hopeful, but I want to be proved wrong.
Right. We all want to be proved wrong here, Wasbir. So we also have our Kohima correspondent Sarah Konyak joining us live at this point in time. I'm sure, Wasbir, you have questions for her as well.
Yes, we are joined, as our anchor Raunak said, our Kohima correspondent Sarah Konyak is live with us from Kohima. Sarah, I have spoken my mind. What do you think of this plan to once again set up a political affairs committee?
Well, Wasbir, the Rio-led government in the earlier term, during his term as the chief minister, have also been setting up a political affairs committee with different nomenclatures. And this time around as well, they have, in the 14th Nagaland Legislative Assembly, they have also come up with another circular where they have directed the political party legislatures to set up these political affairs committee. Well, although they are not party to the talks between the government of India and the NSC and IM, but they have been acting as an active facilitator. But you have rightly pointed out hopes. When we talk about hope, it is quite doubtful as of now, because earlier also various committees have been formed where they have been acted as facilitators, but not much on the ground have been done. And the call of the people is that there is a doubt among the general populace that the political affairs committee may not be able to play the role as they are supposed to, because the demand of the people of the Naga populace is that there should be peace in the state as soon as possible, not just in the state but in the region. However, the committees that have been set up by the government thus far have not been able to bring the NSA and IM and the other Naga national political groups together. Now, if we talk about the NNPGs, Wasbir, right now, we have to look that the convener of the working committee of the NNPGs, Mr. Kitobi Zumomi, was impeached just last month by his own people, by the Unification Party, and it is yet to be seen whether the NNPGs will be electing a new convener, or whether Kitobi Zumomi will retain the position of the convenership of the working committee. So this is also another development that has come about. So despite the agreed position being signed in the presence of the working committee convener along with the government of India, there is also a little hiccup when we talk about the working committee of the NNPGs. And with regard to the NSA and IM, they're very resolute on their stand on the demand for a separate constitution and a separate flag, and there is yet to be a meeting ground between the government of India and the NSA and IM on this regard. And for the past many months, there has been no negotiation between the two parties. And with the formation of this political affairs committee, we hope that they will play the role of an active facilitator, and apart from bringing the government of India and the NSA IM to a meeting ground. Hopefully, the Political Affairs Committee will play the role of a catalyst where they will
Yeah,
also
that's
bring
right.
the NSC and
Yes.
IM and the
See,
Naga political
Sarah,
groups to
Sarah,
sit
the
across the
Political
table.
Affairs Committee, the plan to set up the Political Affairs Committee is just that, to play the role of a facilitator to find an inclusive solution, as they said, to the protracted Naga political problem. But the Political Affairs Committee will succeed only when they are able to convince the NSC and IM to modify their demand, at least, if not give up. So, unless they are able to do that, that will also be a non-starter. Actually, they will also not be able to achieve their objective, and therefore they will not be able to aid in any way as far as resolution of the Naga political process is concerned. So, the big challenge before the Nagaland government, which is planning to set up the Political Affairs Committee comprising ministers and legislature party leaders of all political parties, is to evolve a solution, and is to convince, first of all, the NSC and IM to at least modify their demand for a separate flag and constitution. In fact, these are the two demands which the NSC and IM has described as their core demands, and these are the two demands on which the entire Naga political dialogue has been stuck and got deadlocked for quite a long time now. So, but my question is, what I am unable to understand at this point in time is that when the political parties, all the political parties, whether it is the BJP, whether it is the NDPP, whether it is the Naga People's Front, the three major political parties, of course there is the Congress, they have decided to give up their political affiliations inside the governmental functioning. They have decided to work as a party-less government. What else can they do? So therefore, they have decided to set up this Political Affairs Committee. Earlier there was the core committee, as I have already said, and now we have to wait and watch as to what new the Political Affairs Committee can bring on the table to bring the NSC and IM and the Government of India on the negotiating table, and whether now that Kitobi Jimomi has been impeached, the NNPGs also needs to clarify whether their stand remains the same or whether there is any shift in their position as far as the agreed position is concerned. That clarification is, of course, we have not got that clarification yet from the NNPGs. On the whole, it is once again looks like a new wine in old bottle, but as I said, I want to be proved wrong. I want the Political Affairs Committee to succeed in its attempt to act as a real facilitator and resolve the protracted Naga political problem.